Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Joshua Gunnett here, and I am here to demonstrate to all of you how to utilize the newer damage system for the upcoming Jointbreaker Killbots competition. So for those that are unaware of what a Jointbreaker really is within this system, this little video is going to demonstrate to you how to utilize the newer systems that I have created for you all and how the new Jointbreaker system works with this video. So how the system now works is that initially it used to work on a math.random chance-based system, so that whenever a collision occurred, it would of course randomly select a random chance based upon a number value, and of course, you know, the number value went from 1 to 3 or 1 to 2, and of course the lower the chance, the higher the lower the number value, the higher the chance the damage would have occurred. This system is a lot more refined. It's better, it's greater, and honestly, I'm glad I thought of it in the first place. So, how it initially works is it's kind of like a sort of like a HP system, but the HP is defined by the collision, which may require a bit of handiwork on your end and a bit of a demonstrate or addressing from the competition host as to what the maximum health damage a part can take before being broken. But yeah, without further ado, I'll demonstrate it really. So, how the damage system works is if I'll go into the test bit here with my avatar. Essentially, these red parts here, all these red parts, including the translucent part over there, are joint breakers. And this 2-button system here, working of course on click detection, is a manual on and off that will ensure that the joint breaker isn't accidentally turned on and causes unfair damage upon striking when we, of course, do robot combat. So, if I press the green button, it'll activate. It says there in the output. It activates because it prints that out, and of course, when you press red button here, it deactivates because there is a boolean in there that all these joint breakers reference to, and will essentially rely on this to be on in order for all this to work. Now, how the system will work is that if we go over to this seat here, this seat it's set up like any normal kind of vehicle seat. So as soon as you set on it, and then press double SAD keys. Of course, there is no chassis to drive at the moment because it is basically demonstrating a weapon system more than a drive system. But we'll get to that later on. But essentially, how this system will work is if you, of course, select the operate tool, you highlight it, double click. Of course, the camera has been set to this part currently, so but you can change it in the scripts if you so wish later on. And how this works is this is the spinner system. So when you hold down Q now, there is a loop in there. There's a loop that while Q is being held down and while the of course spinning is occurring, a boolean activates to say while spinning equals true, Well, I'll show it. Let's see if we get the spinner system here. So if we go into the spin up system here. So as it says here, first, while the weapon, so the first is this weapon motor. This is referencing the thing doing the movement, which is of course the weapon motor constraint here. Weapon ball is of course a thing that's right here in the seat. The weapon active, this is the size of the on and off of the weapon. The weapon active is here for the Jointbreaker, so that the Jointbreaker script will only activate upon the weapon actually being on. And then of course the damage value, which is within the damage add bit of the Jointbreaker. This is the damage that's being added onto a part that it touches. So as it says here, of course, weapon ball value equals true. While weapon ball value equals true, do waits every frame to of course do this. Ensures that weapon velocity does not exceed 100. And then of course it adds on 2 every frame to simulate a realistic spin up, if you will, for a weapon. And what this part of the script does is that it focuses on the speed of the part and ensures that when a weapon has reached a certain speed, it will start adjusting the damage value to a greater extent. So once it reaches quarter speed, damage will be 4. Once it reaches half speed, damage will be 5. And once it reaches full top speed, damage is 6. So, to put it in perspective, currently I have the maximum amount of damage any part can take is 30. So, therefore, if a part were to be struck 5 times by this at top speed, then that part will break off and sit about on the floor somewhere. So, yeah, cool stuff. And this is the same, of course, in the spin down, but it's in reverse. But then they've also got the maintain script as well, where as soon as you lift your finger off of Q or E for the spin down, this will activate the maintain. It will maintain the speed of the spinner while adjusting the damage value just in case the spinner has reduced in speed. This Jointbreaker is also adjusted so that it will slow. So I'm just going to spin up to top speed here. There we are, top speed. So this Jointbreaker is also adjusted so that upon collision occurring, so just sort out the collision here. Or should I just demonstrate my avatar here? Yeah. Upon the collision occurring, sparks will occur upon that as a spark particle is located inside the part, so that sparks will just shoot out upon the strike occurring, and I believe the speed has indeed reduced. The speed has indeed reduced. So what essentially occurred there is that when this Jointbreaker strikes a part, it instantiates a texture into the part that shows a cracked form, and what will happen is that the more damage is done to a part, the more visible the cracks become. But with this spinner here, the spinner actually reduces in speed. So initially it was at 100 speed, but because of the collisions now, it's at 20 speed, and the Jointbreaker is now actually deactivated because it requires to be at quarter speed in order to activate, which is 25.